After many years of anticipation, delays, promotion, marketing, and trailers, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is finally here, and I'm glad I got the chance to see it on Saturday night. And I gotta say, after watching the movie, I'm actually pleased. Now, it's not one of the best out of the 28 films, so this is the 28th MCU film, but it's still very good. It's still very solid. So I really liked what I saw, despite reports of scheduling changes, reshoots, rewriting scripts, change in directors, even as well, and even like reordering release dates, because it seems like it was supposed to be Multiverse of Madness first, and then Spider-Man No Way Home. So this is something that I was aware of. I don't know if that's true or false, but without wasting much time, uh, I'm really glad that someone like Sam Raimi was actually brought on after Scott Derrickson stepped down due to creative differences. So I'm glad Sam Raimi, as someone who has worked on Spider-Man films and horror films like Evil Dead, for example, I'm glad he was the one for the job, and he did exceptional. It was a very good film. But again, I'm not calling it the best. Not even the best Phase 4 film, but I'll talk about Phase 4 in a moment. But he was perfect for this film as well. And Scott Derrickson, who did direct the first Doctor Strange movie in 2016, did stay on as one of the executive producers for this movie. So at least something happened there. Uh, and the film does carry on previous plot threads that have been established, not just from his first movie and what's happened from Avengers 3 and 4 film, and even I think a little bit of No Way Home, although I'm not sure if that's been referenced in any way, because it doesn't seem like both movies connect, and I kind of wish they did. Now, I'm really glad that a lot of the familiar characters did return, like Mordo and Christine Palmer. Rachel McAdams really got a lot to do. She was given more of a bigger role in the film in some ways, so I'll talk about that as well. A new character in the movie, America Chavez, played by Ixchoti Gomez. She's a 16-year-old actress in the movie. First time we're seeing America Chavez, who can, transport herself from one dimension to another, but she doesn't yet fully know how to have control of her powers unless she's scared. And while I'm glad that there's this new character in the movie, I was a little bit underwhelmed and sort of disappointed in the film how she was used. And I understand that she was new, but I mean, she was to me like used as a plot device, which was basically like save and protect this young victim from the Scarlet Witch, when Wanda Maximoff. The Scarlet Witch. I want to mention that as well. But although, like for Chavez, there was more of a backstory about her family, which did add a little bit more character depth, but still, she was just used more as someone who just needed protection, for someone who's powerful enough to give a strong punch to someone and go to different dimensions and all that. But throughout watching the movie, like, I'm really glad that something like this, like someone for Raimi, like, he brought his expertise on how to uh, surprise us and keep us engaged in the horror moments, especially in the scenes that Elizabeth Olsen really got to do with her acting chops. Like, there were like some tense, quiet moments with Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda slash Scarlet Witch, and I just really felt they were really interesting, and it was a really fresh change of pace for Marvel Studios. Like, there's still some moments of high octane action, that's for sure. I mean, it's still on brand, but I'm glad that like there are some horror elements as well. Like there was this one moment where I got a surprise jump scare, but it was really nothing. So I'm really glad most of her scenes kind of it's not meant to be scary, but try to show her that like she's a terrifying force to be with. And yeah, like I was saying earlier, as for Rachel McAdams as Christine Palmer, um, I thought it was interesting, watching it. Like, she got to play one version of Christine Adams, who we know close to Strange, and even when he attended her wedding, you could tell, like, although they still have feelings for each other in some ways, you can tell, like, they feel and know that their relationship has been broken for obvious reasons, for one way or another. And it couldn't make, like, they couldn't make it work. And so those are the consequences of his actions, having his own destiny and so forth. So that's understandable. It makes sense. I am glad to see her as a different variant, different dimension of this same Christine Palmer character with, more scientific, more intelligent. So I thought that was really cool to see. Sort of similar from nurse to like scientist in Earth 838. So I thought that was pretty cool to see. And like even in the third act of the movie, like still feeling very familiar with each other, but knowing that they can't make it work. And it just shows how for both characters, there's still like some unsettling feelings and and there's still some on-screen character, that shows tension. Now, ever since watching the movie, I've noticed how online there have been questions of Wanda's character arc. Has it gone down since the WandaVision TV show? And I'm gonna say not entirely. And yeah, hold on. Sorry, I'll be back.
A few moments later.
Sorry about that. I was interrupted for a moment, but yeah, I was just saying, Wanda's character arc that was established from the films previously, and then throughout WandaVision, and then how it was teased. Yeah, sorry, it was teased in the end of the series finale when she had the Darkhold, like some evil magic book. Don't think too much about it, but like an evil magic book, and she could hear the voices of her kids. So it was teased that like her kids in the Multiverse of Madness movie would somehow, some way be involved. So as someone who we've seen grieving a lot, she once again grieves as a mother. So I get that character arc of like, having suffered so much loss and pain, wants to find a piece of her happiness again. So and I get how some people think, well, it went downhill because she accepted the consequences of her actions. WandaVision was about the stages of grief as well. And then like by the end of that series, like just accepted it and realized, the consequences of her actions and moved on. So she was willing to find a way to, reach her kids again in a different dimension, no matter the cost, no matter the sacrifices, even if that means turning into a killer. And this is what's so interesting. As someone who we never really thought or imagined that would be a killer, it was an interesting dark path, to be like this all-powerful witch, which is like what she is in this movie as a mother trying to find a piece of her happiness again. And this is what the whole Scarlet Witch mythology is, and so forth was teased in the TV series. And again, like it was cool to also see another evil Doctor Strange in a different dimension, although because of the Darkhold as well. So I love how we got to see different versions of these characters as well, and even like a nicer, well, not I wouldn't say nicer, but more of an innocent Wanda as well, possessed by the evil one we've seen throughout the movie. And she got to use the full extent of her powers in this movie, so that was a crazy and interesting part as well. Okay, now I think I've said what I can about Wanda. I want to talk. Sorry, I want to talk about the cameos in the movie. First cameo, most people who know Sam Raimi knows this part was coming, and that's Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell, he starred in the Evil Dead movies. He even made cameos in Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy films. So it was cool to see Bruce Campbell again. As someone just selling hot dogs in a different dimension, Earth 838. That was pretty cool to see, interacting with Strange. And then, of course, there was a cameo of familiar actors, sort of familiar characters, at least a few of them. Part of this group called the Illuminati. Now, just disclaimer, they're not the same evil Illuminati. I don't know why they seem like the good guys, sort of. They're just, I'm not going to spoil who was casted as some of these characters. I actually think if you saw the trailers, you can kind of guess one of them. But I will say that Mordor, Baron Mordor, Carl Mordor, whatever, was back in the film, but not the one that we know. Mordo 838 as part of the group in the movie. Clearly no Strange well, and they share similar characteristics, similar personalities between the one that we know in the first movie and the one that we meet in the second movie. And so when he was summoned by this group, he was just, uh, you know, being warned of how he was supposedly a hero on Thanos, but not really. Like, so, of course, they came into conflict with Thanos, and how they dealt with his fate, so to speak. So I'm sorry for the spoiler details. So I'm really glad Sam Raimi brought his expertise on the horror genre plus the comic book genre that he's been familiar with. And I really liked how early on in the movie, someone asked him, like, were those sacrifices on the MCU Earth 616, was it worth it from the 5-year absence? What Thanos did and what he had to do to stop them, and the sacrifices lost, and all those forth. And I thought it would have been interesting to see sort of the damages, sort of the losses of the situation that may have caused. And I think what happened in that time, I think impacted his relationship with Christine Palmer. So yeah, I mean, I would have liked to see more of the repercussions of what happened in No Way Home, but I think scheduling changes and reshoots, conflicts, behind the scenes stuff may have impacted that situation. I don't know if it's true. It seems like America Chavez was supposed to be introduced all the way back in No Way Home. That would have been cool to see. I could see how America Chavez would have fit in as well with the cast of Spider-Man No Way Home. I don't know how throughout the film. I would have liked it at least in a post-credit scene, since that movie didn't really get a proper post-credit scene. But otherwise, it's fine. So yeah, I mean, I won't spoil the cameos, the rest of the cameos in the film. I will say that maybe some of you that have seen them before, it's very familiar. But yeah, if you have not yet seen it, go watch it. It's actually a very good, very solid. I'm just glad that they pulled it off despite everything that's happened behind the scenes as well. As for how I feel in the Phase 4 area, maybe I think at the moment second or third best, because No Way Home is the best Phase 4 MCU film. I really liked Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings, maybe a second. But I think the rankings for me may change by the time Thor Love and Thunder comes out in July. So I anticipate Love and Thunder being as good or even better than Ragnarok. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I mean, like, go check it out. It's definitely worth a watch. Just temper the expectations a little bit, but it's definitely a very good film, and one that I appreciate as well, that changed the pace a little bit into more of the horror elements aspect, and now more in the superhero comic book genre. So yeah, definitely a very good film. Yeah, I almost forgot to mention regarding Wanda, just one more thing. I almost didn't realize the detail how there's a more of an evolution and a change in her outfit. If you look back with her WandaVision outfit as Scarlet Witch by the series finale, of course, Revelation, like this new tiara look, crown tiara look, something like that, like a darker red, almost maroon color, like a sleeveless look, but also like the chest plate, sort of like the extra details with two stripped lines, sort of thing, as well. And you could see like how in the movie, like of course, like different sort of a modified look of the crown tiara look as well, and even the eyes, like there's a deeper eyeshadow color, more red in the eyeshadow color as well. Like even of course now with the outfit with sleeves, more details with the chest plate, the chest as well. Sort of a more antagonistic look in comparison. Like I found this image from Fandom Wire, so it really did a good job just having the photo side by side, or I should say horizontal, no, sorry, vertically, my bad, but like you can tell like even more of a leather detail. If there's one common thing, it's the colors and the leather detail as well, but more so in the Multiverse of Madness film, of course, more sleeved look, hair more back. So the idea of the outfit like more so the same, but uh, newer and different details, kind of like a different look as well. That's been changed for her outfit as well. So that's just something I almost forgot to mention before, and I just wanted to say that here.